Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Gerard, and in today's show, we have some juicy news and rumors to break down. I'll also be joined by Abby Alonso. So if you guys are ready to get this thing started, go and hit the thumbs up icon, and let's talk some Saints football. First things first, I know what you guys are all thinking. I'm tired of hearing about Derek Carr. I'm kind of tired about talking about him, so Mickey Loomis, make something happen and go make a trade. Go sign somebody. I don't care. Make something happen. But anyway, Bleacher Report recently released an article saying that they actually believe that New Orleans is the number one spot and the number one destination for Derek Carr to land, and it's the best spot for him. And here's what the article had to say. The Saints need stability at quarterback. After 15 seasons with Drew Brees, the helm, the organization treaded water with the likes of Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, and Andy Dalton. A trade for Derek Carr can bring back a proven veteran option who's still in the prime of his career. A falling out between Carr and how Josh McDaniels wants to run the Raiders organization shouldn't be viewed as a narrative considering the latter's track record. Whereas Carr already has 4,000 passing yards, has 4,000-yard passing seasons under his belt, worth 3,500 more this past year. And I know Abby Alonso has some thoughts that she wants to share, so I'm going to kick it over to her. Abby, what are your thoughts on all of this as a whole?
Remember that Dennis Allen drafted Derek Carr, so this feels like a comfortable option for Dennis Allen. They're familiar with each other. They're both trying to save their jobs. The Saints don't have a first-round pick. It feels like it's starting to lean that way, that Dennis Allen could end up in the black and gold, and we'll compare him here to Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. It's not great. It doesn't look great when you put them up against each other, but remember that Derek Carr struggled in Vegas, and we don't know whether it was Derek Carr or whether it was the system that Josh McDaniels was running. He had a 60.8 completion percentage, 3,500 yards, and his touchdown to interception ratio was 24-14. Andy Dalton had a 66.7 completion percentage, just over 2,800 yards, 18-9. And we know that turnovers were a problem for Andy Dalton towards the middle of the season. Jameis Winston, I don't even know that it's fair that he's up there. He only played 3 games, but he did have a 63.5 completion percentage, 858 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns to his 5 interceptions. It's hard to compare those 3 guys because they were in such different scenarios, especially Jameis Winston, 3 games.
Yeah.
But I think that bringing Derek Carr to New Orleans might not be a terrible idea. Look, it's not my first pick. I'm still not going to get on board of Derek Carr is the next superstar of this franchise. I don't believe that. I think he might be a temporary fix for a long-term problem. I think he and Dennis Allen come in maybe this season. Just the chemistry they've already established in Vegas might help out this organization a little bit more than drafting somebody in the late rounds of the draft or trying to trade for God knows who at this point, but I don't know that it's a horrible idea anymore. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I think it could work out. I think it's kind of high risk, high reward. I don't know if he's the guy, but I know where I can tell you we're going to be breaking this down, Abby. We're starting, huge programming alert, huge programming announcement. We are starting a bi-weekly live show all about the Saints every other Wednesday, and we're starting this Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. My boy, producer Patrick Seaman's going to be pushing the 1s and 2s. We're going to be having a grand old time, having some fun, taking questions, interacting with the Who Dat Nation, and it's going to be a blast. We're going to talk Sean Payton updates, coaching rumors, draft stuff, quarterback options, anything and everything in between. So be sure to join us for our first ever bi-weekly live show this Wednesday at 3:30 Central Time. Subscribe and join us. And if you're going to be joining us, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon. Drop a like on today's video to let us know that you're going to be joining us for our first ever live show. It's good, like I said, going to be a lot of fun. There's no reason why you shouldn't join us and at least say what's up and come hang out for a little bit. Going to have the beers flowing. It's going to be a good old time. So, next things next. We have some Sean Payton interest and Sean Payton buzz. New updates. Is the Payton trade happening? Is the trade incoming? Sean Payton on Fox. You guys can hear Abby laughing. We're just, like, literally before we started talking about this, we were like, we're done. We're like, this just...
When is it going to end?
Exactly. Like, I'm over it. I'm so tired of this.
Do something.
But Sean Payton on Fox recently said, I think in the next week we're going to know a lot more. Now, this comes in after he went and had a 7-hour meeting with the Cardinals and Cardinals ownership. I think that could be, that's what I've kind of said.
Sus.
Yeah, it's a little sus. But I've said it a few times here and there. That's my sneaky pick for a potential Sean Payton destination. But here's so far who their head coach candidates are. Brian Flores, former head coach, now linebackers coach with the Steelers. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator of the Lions. Evero, defensive coordinator, Broncos. Joseph, defensive coordinator, Cardinals, obviously an in-house option. Lou Anarumo, I believe if I butchered that pronunciation, I apologize, but Lou Anarumo, defensive coordinator for the Bengals. Brian Callahan, a new name to this list. He's offensive coordinator, got asked to interview. And also just in, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator for the Giants, after one great year, is also being requested for an interview, or has also been requested for an interview. And this is kind of interesting because a lot of these names came in after the Sean Payton interview went down.
This is an interesting tweet in itself, and I want to read it to you guys so we can break it down a little bit. While Sean Payton told teams that he expects the Saints to only ask for a mid-first rounder for him in a trade, that's not the case. What teams have heard from Saints GM Mickey Loomis is 2 first-round picks. That's part of the problem with hiring Sean Payton, per Tom Pelissero. And it is a heavy ask. That is a heavy ask for a Sean Payton trade for other teams. But I don't think Mickey Loomis is bending, and I don't think he should. I think this guy is a transformative coach. He comes in, he changes a franchise, he builds these guys up. You got to pay to play. And look, Larry Fitzgerald said it. He backed Sean Payton. He endorsed him and said, look, guys, like, if you want a coach that's going to come in and change your entire organization, pay up. He said, to me, it's really a no-brainer. If you really want to build the foundation for success for a very long time, Sean Payton has done that for quite a while in New Orleans. And years before then, he's a franchise-changing aspect. Like I said, you want somebody to come in and completely turn everything around for you, you got to pay up, and that might be 2 first-round picks per Mickey Loomis. I don't think he's bending on that. I think he's very steadfast in what he wants. Sean Payton is a big asset, and we've got leverage right now.
Absolutely.
So, you know what? Go out and get it. But if you guys want the Cardinals' first-round pick, type trade in the comment section.
Yeah, go type trade like 100 times because we're so tired of this. Just make it happen.
Honestly.
If Mickey Loomis won't listen to us, maybe he'll listen to you guys. And I can guarantee you that I bet all of you want Sean Payton to go and get traded. And I bet all of you want that first-round pick from the Cardinals. And if you want to bet on it, you like that? It was smooth, am I right? Go get started with our sportsbook partner, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code chat125. BetUS, you will get hooked up with a 125% deposit bonus, meaning you put in $100, they put in $100, they put $125 of their own money in, so that way you can game with it, and then you can lay that down on college baseball, MLB, whatever you want. You can pretty much put it on anything because BetUS has it all. Go get started, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code chat125. And hey, we got to keep it moving, baby. Senior Bowl quarterback prospects. Interesting stuff here. Ronald Curry, who's the passing game coordinator, and DJ Williams are coaching the national team of the 2023 Senior Bowl, which is pretty interesting, and the Saints have always had some Senior Bowl interest. They've pulled and picked multiple guys in the past from the Senior Bowl, and some guys that are on the some quarterbacks that will get early looks for the Senior Bowl from the Saints. Malik Cunningham out of Louisville, Jake Haener out of Fresno State, and the BYU product, Jaren Hall. And Abby's going to break some of this down for you guys. But my thoughts just in general, I like Malik Cunningham. He's an exciting player. He's an exciting guy to go maybe pick up, and he could maybe have some, open up the offense a little bit. Jake Haener, extremely accurate, extremely fun prospect. Could probably get him in the mid to late rounds. Jaren Hall, I have some concerns. I have some worries because I'm afraid that we could have a similar situation, Zach Wilson, as we did with Jaren Hall. I don't want to say he's bad. I don't want to say he's going to be, hitting up your moms or anything. But I will say he might be somebody you want to, take a second look at and not pay attention to the pro day. But Abby, Malik Cunningham, why don't you break him down for me?
So Malik Cunningham, he played 50 games at Louisville, was a redshirt senior. He is a threat on the ground. I mean, his rushing stats, unreal. I've got some right here, additional to the ones up there. But let's see. Yeah, 3,179 yards and 50 touchdowns on the ground during his college career. Those are huge numbers. He is an absolute threat on the ground. His problem is ball security. He has a problem with turnovers. He had 29 interceptions and 19 career fumbles. That's not something we're looking for coming off of a season where turnovers were a large issue for this team. But, pros and cons to each of these guys.
Absolutely.
Jake Haener, he is so accurate, so aggressive. He plays with heart. He goes after it. He's not afraid of anything. And the only concern is his size. He's a little bit smaller. He's 6'1", 201 pounds. But I think Saints fans, we know very well that size really doesn't matter. You look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't the biggest quarterback. He was quite small for a quarterback, and he still put up those numbers. This kid's accurate. He's fun to watch, like you said, Trace. He's aggressive. And I think that could be a little bit of something we need, not just on the field, but in the locker room, that kind of riled up, feisty,
some young,
let me
fun
prove
energy.
myself. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And look, Jake Haener might be a guy to keep an eye on. And then Jaren Hall from BYU, he's also a threat on the ground, same as Cunningham. Not quite as much, but you can look at his stats up there. He is better with ball security than Cunningham, but the only concerns with him are the fact that he's 25 and he does come with some injury history, which if we're looking to revamp this franchise and to bring in a quarterback who is going to be here for the long haul, if you don't go with the trade and you draft somebody, you want him to be there for a while. You want to get your money's worth, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that being 25 with an injury history is the right route for the Saints.
Absolutely.
I could be wrong. Again, these coaches are going to be able to coach the national team and see this up close and personal and, game-heavy action. So they'll get a better look at what these guys actually look like on the field. But I really, really, really like Jake Haener.
I do too.
You know what? That it is what it is. I don't care how small you are. If you've got fight in you, you've got some heart, then come on.
You might be a New Orleans Saint.
Yeah.
I think it fits the Saints' attitude, the New Orleans mindset of, sometimes you got to prove something to some people who may not be looking at you seriously.
And the thing we forgot to say, Trace, is that these guys are not going to go in the top rounds of the draft. So if you're worried about the Saints not having a first-round pick, that really doesn't apply to some of these guys. So They really could be there in the later rounds of the draft. It's very realistic that we could pick them up.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting thing. Honestly, Jake Haener, I know that he's one that you and I have been talking a little bit more about. Grayson McCall, I know a lot of people have thrown his name out. He's going back to Coastal Carolina for a season. But I think Jake Haener, you could, like you said, late round, that means you could go and get a safety, some defensive line help, a backup running back, or somebody else in that set with that second round pick. Obviously, if Sean Payton gets traded, you have a first round pick. But it's interesting. So, it's not all about us. It's always about you. It's also about y'all. So let us know in the comment section if you had to pick one of these quarterbacks, type 1 for Malik Cunningham, 2 for Jake Haener, 3 for Jaren Hall. Who Dat Nation, it's always a pleasure. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.